Hello and welcome to anybody in the DJ world and musicians. This is big news. The launch of the QSC K12 second generation active speaker. This speaker is one of the most popular 12-inch active speakers, and they are no stranger to mobile DJs and musicians since their launch. So today, whether you love them or hate them, to have the second generation QSC K12 here is pretty special news. Don't hate me for being pro QSC. I love many brands of speakers. If you've ever seen any of my other videos, you will know I own FBT, RCF, Yamaha, EV, JBL and also Nexo speakers. But today it's all about the QSC K12.2, whatever you want to call it. First off, starting with the front of the speaker. The LED at the front is much bigger and brighter. This LED on the original K12 could be switched off during use or switched on. What do you get with your speaker? You get a European plug, that end, European plug, and you also get a UK plug. Same connector types that they had originally. And there is a manual. Which you also get with your new QSC speaker. There was also the capability of this LED being used as a limit indicator, so you could see that the clip limiter circuit had been engaged during operation. This front LED no longer supports that function. There is now a red LED on the rear that now independently supports that single limiter function. And I'll show you that right now. Get that in focus. There it is, the red LED above the power indicator. Right, moving on. The original K12 had a curvature to the sides of the enclosure. The new K12 sides still have that curvature, but it seems to be a lot flatter and straighter. The top is flat, which I like, and the bottom is also flat, meaning that these can now be stackable. Let's have a look at the top. The old K12 had much more of a slant. Maybe there's a bit of a slant, but not as much, and the bottom no longer has that big bulky foot. There used to be a big bulky rubber foot at the back. You can see that's a lot more slender now. There is a rubber foot there, but it's not as bulky, and the back doesn't taper away like the original K12 did. Moving on. This is the speaker on the floor. It is a lot flatter than the original K12. It seems to be slightly off, flat, but it's so much flatter than it used to be. Maybe if I tilted it, that's quite flat. That's not, I've not touched it, look. That is so much flatter than it used to be. So yeah, these are a lot more stackable. This second generation K12 has a shallower monitor angle of 55 degrees. Also, looking at the physical features of this speaker, I noticed that the volume of the enclosure might be just that bit bigger. I suppose losing the top and bottom slant, this would have a larger volume. The original K12 had a lot bulkier handles. These are a lot more slender, but are still strong, solid aluminium handles, which is nice to see. No doubt, moving forward, they never needed to be as bulky. These just do the same job, but look a lot tidier and neater. An interesting point here. The single tilt direct pole cup mount has now gone in favour of two mounting pole holes, which is similar to my Yamaha and RCF speakers. Now, this has been changed due to a minor flaw using the tilt direction. Apparently, when it was twisted and set to -7.5 degrees, the weight of the speaker on the pole shifted away from its centre of gravity, something I never even noticed. The re-engineered dual pole cup now ensures that the K12 always rests on its centre of gravity at -7.5 degrees. That's a little bit of a shame, because I always praise QSC, for that unique design feature. Moving on. I must honestly have about 8 to 10 phono to 3.5mm jack leads. So to now see that the RCA phono jack is missing is not welcome. The phono jacks have been replaced in favour of 3.5mm jacks, or jack. Apparently, again, because smartphones and similar devices didn't play such a big part in our lives during the design stages in 2006 of the original K12. And phono, or RCA inputs, back then, supported devices such as mixers, CD players, etc. Now that smart devices have changed the way that we listen to music, the 3.5mm jack is the way forward as an input or connector. So that's that. This new K12 is also lighter in weight than the original K12. I do also like the fact there is a new fabric membrane behind the grille at the front, which no doubt will keep out dust or dirt or anything else that you'd like to keep away from your drivers. I don't know if it can be seen, but at any angle you can't see the drivers. Usually if light was hitting you could see the drivers, but now you can't. It keeps it nice and dark. So these speakers, I like the look that they maintain the discreet look. You don't see the drivers anymore. Just this nice black front grille, which is very welcome, and I like that. Originally, I looked at the back and I thought, oh God, that intelligent fan that I used to praise QSC for again is missing. I used to like the fan because with some of my other speakers that aren't convection cooled, the fan would come on as soon as you powered it up and just ran and ran and ran. With the QSC speakers that I have, you switch them on, the fan doesn't come on. It stays off. No doubt it's run by a thermostat. When it senses that the amplifiers hit a certain temperature, it cuts in just to allow a little cooling, then it cuts off again. But apparently this new K12 does still have an intelligent fan, but this fan runs quieter. I can't see it, but it does still have a fan. So I am so glad about that. Not that there's anything wrong with convection cooling, but I like to see that there's a fan there that can maybe pull more heat away than convection. I don't know which is more efficient, but I'm in favor of the fan. Moving on. Talking of the way forward, this must be the most noticeable advanced feature in the new K12. Hiding behind this LCD screen is a multi-function digital interface. Behind this powerful interface hides the missing vocal boost, the deep setting, and much more advanced DSP functions to select from. As I'm an advocate of DSP simply because no two venues that you are going to go to are going to be the same. So you will rely on DSP to further optimize your performance and the way that your speaker sounds. With this powerful DSP, you have many factory presets to choose from, fine-tuning options for using the speaker as a stage monitor for musicians, for playback of music, and for the input of musical instruments, etc., etc., etc. Although you can rely on EQ from a controller or a mixer, you can't beat having DSP straight out of the box. The more, the merrier. The new knobs, buttons or dials I find are smaller and tidier and not as bulky as on the original K12. I don't find them too small, considering I have much smaller dials on my EV and RCF speakers. One thing I'm glad to see that hasn't changed is the operation of the knobs or dials. They still retain the stepped, notchy, clicky instruments when you turn them, just like the original K12. I don't know if you can hear this, but I'm going to try that now, so you can hear it. So it still has that stepped movement, so you know where you are. I hope it can be heard. And the selection buttons are nice and easy to use. That's that. I have to talk a little quieter, but I hope you can still hear me. Nothing's gone wrong. I just thought I'd show you the LEDs. These are my K8s, or my new K8 and my old K8. You can see the LED is still on the new K8. The old K8 is still on, but the light or the LED has gone off. If I power it off and power it on again, it might come back on. There you go. I suppose you can see that the LED on the LED on the old K8 is a lot more piercing, and the LED on the new K8 is more opaque. Not so piercing, but a lot bigger. Anyway, I have some disappointing news. For this review, I got the speakers, the K12s, and within a few hours I was using them to run them in before really cranking them up. I tried to upload my videos with tracks playing, but due to copyright reasons they were uploaded without any sound. If you're wondering why I'm talking quite low, it's because it's very late. I've been playing the K12s for 3 days and finally let them loose for 6 hours. at a barbecue this weekend. Oh my God. I never needed my subs. The mids and the highs are so pronounced, clearer and cleaner compared to the original K12s. As for the bass, definitely better and improved, and so many of the preset options really make it come alive. There's much more presets other than the Legacy's deep. You truly have to demo these. I had the Legacy 12s there too, and walking from speaker to speaker, I could definitely tell the difference. The new K12s go louder, and I was pushing these so hard with no signs of harshness whatsoever, which I found staggering. And this was all done outdoors in the baking sun that we had this weekend. The speakers must have been fighting the heat being produced by the amplifier and by the heat wave that God provided. But maybe due to this new improved fan, there were no issues at all. To be honest with you, I was considering using my KW152s out there. No need. These and the improved DSP got me there. I later hooked up the 181 subs. Oh dear. Phenomenal. I could have used these in an arena. They performed that good. So my conclusion. If you're on the market for a pair of active 12-inch speakers, you have to put these on your list. Let's say, for example, they might be beyond your budget. Put these up against what you do have the budget for, and then compare the build quality, the functions, and ultimately the sound. These K12s are totally new, just launched, and they have a great reputation. My original K12s are so reliable, and these new ones still maintain that 6-year warranty. You can't beat that. Question: if I had Legacy K12s, should I upgrade? Definitely, because these are better, and you always get good resale value on Legacy K12s. A couple of things I'm sad about, one being the lack of RCA phono inputs. The cost of new leads won't break the bank. And the missing tilt direct single pole mount, well, that just shows how much these engineers care about their product, giving optimum performance. That's why I absolutely love the speakers and would trade those touches I miss for even some of the simple minor improvements. The LCD going dim after 30 seconds is a simple but pleasant touch, as is the new intelligent low noise variable speed fan. The fabric behind the front grille, it's a subtle but enormous improvement on the speaker's new appearance. The tidy new mixer section, the improved sound quality, that itself is a reason to buy these. More power, these go even louder, 2000 watts peak, as opposed to 1000 on the old K12s. I shouldn't call it old, better to use the word original. Come on, what else do you need to take the plunge? And above all, the DSP, that is a huge plus, being able to manipulate the sound even more straight out of the box with so many presets, including dance, live, bass amp, studio monitor, so many options for mobile DJs and musicians. The list goes on and on. All of this, and although twice as powerful, but not twice the price of the Legacy K12s. Say no more. Have a good gig. Embrace all new technology. And thank you so much for watching.